In this briefing, I will dwell on the conflict reignited once again by the TPLF, the current humanitarian situation in the country, and our ongoing efforts for a peaceful resolution of the conflict. First, on the conflict, the TPLF has all along been threatening to wage war for the duration of the humanitarian truce. We knew that they were forcefully recruiting young people, preparing them for this round of conflict. We consistently informed many of you that they are mobilizing the population and holding town hall meetings and bragging about their ability to impose their will on the rest of Ethiopia. Some of you undoubtedly knew what this group was doing. Others made efforts to protect the unilateral humanitarian truce. We sincerely appreciate the effort of countries and humanitarian actors that tried to contribute to our efforts to prevent another round of bloodshed in Ethiopia. That being said, this does not give us the whole picture. We are disappointed to see and endure the open conspiracy of some actors. On the other hand, profess partnership with our country. We implemented a re-engagement strategy to reset our relations with several countries. We have registered encouraging progress. Some entities and sub-national elements have persisted with a very negative view of this country. Very few have gone the extra mile of supporting the TPLF. Some have promised to support them in open meetings. Others have given them their support in subtle ways. Still, others have used their media platform and personal accounts to give their support. The worst manifestation of hostility to the government has gone as far as supplying the TPLF with military hardware. The Ethiopian Air Force has successfully stopped one such attempt to supply weapons to the TPLF. This is a blatant violation of the sovereign and territorial integrity of Ethiopia. Other countries must take notice of this dangerous development and understand that their national security could be willfully threatened at any time. TPLF's all-out assault against our forces, starting on August 24, 2022, is without any doubt primarily its responsibility. You would, however, agree that others have deliberately or otherwise contributed to the vicious attacks it has launched against civilians in the Afar and Amhara regions. Since August 24, the TPLF has expanded its aggression to various areas in Amhara and Afar regions, only to jeopardize the delivery of humanitarian assistance in the northern Ethiopia. A few days ago, TPLF has tried to attack the city of Kobo from different directions using its usual human wave tactics. It has also tried to endanger the safety of the people by bringing the battle into the city, and the government took a responsible measure, leaving the town and avoid mass casualties. Yesterday, it has launched another invasion in the direction of Wak, Walqait, and border areas with Sudan, Amhara region. Again, in its new aggression, it has continued using the human wave strategy, placing children, youth, and the elderly at the forefront to sacrifice. This TPLF's belligerence is forcing the hands extended for peace to recoil. Regrettably, people in these two regions are being subjected to TPLF's indiscriminate shelling, looting, and destruction of their properties for the second time. They were only trying to rebuild what has been destroyed during the last TPLF invasion. The TPLF reignited this conflict blatantly, violating the indefinite humanitarian truce. It now says the government started it. We are confident that nobody will be fooled by this travesty. The conflict is now in the Amhara and Afar region. It has this obvious that the TPLF started it. It is attacking the two regions to widen the conflict. To again widen the conflict, the TPLF had made it clear that unless its demands are met, it would launch this attack. It is using child soldiers for its twisted political goals. It's stole fuel destined for the delivery of air to the people in the Tigray region. Undoubtedly, it will be primarily the people of Tigray that will suffer the consequence of these heinous actions. The TPLF is forcefully displacing people, killing civilians, looting and destroying property and infrastructure. It has returned to attack the same neighboring localities in both Amhara and Afar regions. These communities have lived side by side together with Tigrayans and intermingled with them throughout history. The TPLF is, by this vicious attack and hate propaganda, trying to sow inter-ethnic hatred and discord, culminating in bloodshed. It cannot be allowed to continue terrorizing people. The government is forced to take all the necessary measures to stop the TPLF from victimizing against these communities. It must stop. All should expect that the TPLF will continue playing the victim, accusing, demonizing the government, and claiming victories all at once. Nothing will deter us from discharging our constitutional responsibilities for protecting the lives and livelihood of all Ethiopians, wherever they may be, and from defending the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ethiopia. Another reason for the government not to start this round of conflict is the dire humanitarian situation. We declared a unilateral humanitarian truce for every purpose of expediting aid to all affected people, primarily in the Tigray region, a task undertaken successfully. While we thank and admire the commitment and dedication of humanitarian workers and agencies, I appeal to humanitarian actors to always remember that they must respect the principles of impartiality and independence that must govern their conduct. They should not be used by the TPLF for its hostile propaganda. Disregard of UN values, principles and codes of conduct by members of all its agencies must not be tolerated by the UN system. That being said, we'll continue working with OCHA, the WFP, and others tirelessly, trying to reach affected people to reduce humanitarian sufferings. My third point is that even during these increased hostilities, we have to talk about the prospect for peace. You all know our position on this matter. Our commitment to peace is not rhetorical. We informed you in our last briefings that we have prepared a possible ceasefire draft proposal. In contrast, the TPLF continues with its preconditions and demands, vacillating to accept the African Union facilitated peace efforts. TPLF has now gone public in confirming that it has reignited the conflict to force the government to accept these preconditions. Finally, Ethiopia expects from the international community to be fair, balanced, and objective. Equating the government with this outlawed terrorist group and apportioning blame is completely unacceptable and wrong. The TPLF reignited the conflict in a premeditated manner, stole fuel destined for humanitarian aid, and is rejecting peace efforts under the auspice of the African Union. Those with a degree of influence need to impress upon the TPLF that it must bear the consequence. Denigrating the African Union must be condemned. We shall continue to inform you regularly on the evolving situations as frequently as possible. Please feel free to make comments and pose questions. I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.